Now at 10, the Better Business Bureau puts out a warning about a payday loan scam. Plus, tax collections in Kansas were better than expected in August, and how a local nonprofit is celebrating the International Day of Charity.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Knoll, Missouri say a man is in the hospital after being stabbed this afternoon. This is KOAM News at 10. Knoll marshals say they received reports of an assault in the parking lot of Tyson Foods. When they arrived, they found 2 men with injuries. One with stab wounds was flown to the hospital. His condition currently is unknown. The other man was arrested. The Better Business Bureau put out a warning about people and payday loan scams and what's surrounding them. Reporter Elizabeth Van Meethry has more on the story.
About people, their names, addresses, the types of loans that they had, sometimes even their social security numbers. So they really can be convincing that way.
Scammers posing as debt collectors, hoping to convince those who pick up their phones that they owe more money on a loan. And it's working. The BBB reports more than 7,800 reports about the loan and debt collector scams. Total loss, $4.1 million.
These long cons over days or even weeks with people, where they'll keep coming up with different lines of like, oh, you can have this loan, you just need to pay a fee to get it. Oh, your credit was too low, you need to pay another $200 to do that. And they'll kind of just keep coming up with these different ways of keeping people on the hook.
Be wary of unexpected calls to apply for a loan or to collect a debt. Loan offers asking for a fee in advance of a loan and giving out personal information over the phone.
Scammers have got so good that if you Google payday loans, some of the choices on the actual Google page are scams. That's why if you're getting a payday loan, it's better to go ahead and do it at a brick and mortar.
And if you do need a payday loan, keep your guard up for predatory lending.
There are some of these companies that are operating within the bounds of the law, but there are tons of things to watch out for.
Remember, interest rates on these loans are calculated weekly or bi-weekly instead of annually. That's an easy way they hide charges. You may think you're paying a 15% interest rate, but weekly or bi-weekly, that's an interest rate in the triple digits. Kansas continues to beat tax collection estimates. Governor Laura Kelly announced the state's collected more than $652 million in taxes in August. That's about $11 million more than the estimate, and $23 million higher than the collections during the same period in 2021. Individual income taxes, corporate income taxes, and retail sales taxes were all higher than expectations. Governor Kelly says it's because of strong revenues and fiscal responsibility. It's been a consistently hot summer, and now Sam Lane joins us with the first look at the weather.
Yes, it has, Jalen. It's been a pretty warm summer all the way around, and it was warm again today. Not hot, but it was pretty warm. And we had a few showers earlier this afternoon way down in central and east central Oklahoma and northwestern Arkansas, but those are now all gone. We're not really expecting much rain over the next few days. This afternoon we made it up to 84 in Joplin after starting out at 65, which worked out to be just even. And we can be around 103 degrees this time of year, so thank goodness we're not there. 1998 was when we topped out on that record, 44 back in 1974. The drought is still hanging on, and it's mainly impacting southeastern Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, a little bit of Missouri. There's been some improvement in southwestern Missouri, but we desperately need more rainfall. And I'll be back in a minute to tell you whether there's any rain in our forecast, so you want to stay tuned.
Today, the world celebrates the International Day of Charity. The Ronald McDonald House in Joplin has served families coming to the local hospitals for over 24 years now. They are a part of worldwide service, as there are over 400 similar houses worldwide. The purpose is to make the families feel as if they are at home. And while being there, they can be close to their children who are being taken care of at the hospital. The families can stay at the house as many days as needed.
Now they're usually going through a period of time that's not easy, and it's very helpful to them to have a place that they can call home when they're away from home, and to be able to provide them all the comforts that they would expect to have at their house.
Ronald McDonald will have their Big Red Shoe Healthy Run on September 24th. The folks over at the Fort Scott National Historic Site spent their Labor Day weekend teaching people about history. Today was the third and final day it's Labor and Leisure on the Frontier program. Events today included a guided tour artillery demonstrations, a small arms drill for kids, and a demonstration on the construction of the fort.
KOAM we're firing today is a mountain howitzer. The howitzer was a weapon that was used over rugged terrains, so it was easily taken apart and transported by mule into mountainous areas, and then it could be easily reassembled.
The historic sites exhibit areas and visitor center are open daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The 4 states has many interesting and beautiful places that you can visit. One of those is Prairie State Park in Barton County, Missouri. Its public recreation area encompasses nearly 4,000 areas of grasslands and woodlands. It's unique in that and much of it has never been farmed or tilled in any way. Officials say preserving the land is important.
Prairie State Park has almost 4,000 acres of tall grass prairie. 80% or better of it, which is virgin prairie and never been plowed, which is extremely hard to find in Missouri. Historically, a third of Missouri was tall grass prairie. Now there's less than half of 1%, which is what makes this park so important.
The park also features the Regal Tallgrass Prairie Nature Center, which offers exhibits and programs to provide more information. And coming up, a federal judge rules on former President Trump's request for a special master on the FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago home, plus the latest on the investigation of a deadly stabbing spree in Canada. A federal judge granted former President Trump's request to appoint a special master in the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago. A special master is a third-party attorney from outside the government tasked with reviewing materials that agents seized from Trump's Florida home last month. Mr. Trump's lawyers argued they did not trust the Department of Justice to keep privileged materials out of its ongoing criminal investigation. The judge noted there have been at least 2 instances where investigators may have come across potentially privileged material. Great Britain has a new prime minister. The Conservative Party elected Liz Truss as head of its party and the leader of the country. Truss replaces outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who announced he was stepping down in July. In her acceptance speech, Truss praised her predecessor for pulling off Brexit and standing up to Vladimir Putin. Truss is promising conservative governing and big tax cuts, but some economists warn those may only worsen the country's soaring inflation. Police in Canada say a suspect, a weekend stabbing, has been found dead. Police say 2 potentially fatally stabbing 10 and injuring at least 19 others in a rural indigenous community in a nearby town. Reporter Talia Perez is following the latest developments.
One of 2 murder suspects wanted in one of the deadliest mass killings in Canada's history has been found dead. Police say Damian Sanderson was found with injuries that were not self-inflicted.
His body was located outdoors in a heavily grassed area in proximity to a house that was being examined.
His brother Miles is still at large.
Miles Sanderson, Damian's brother, may have sustained injuries. Even if he is injured, it does not mean he is not still dangerous.
Authorities say the first stabbing took place at about 5:40 a.m. on Sunday, and within minutes they were notified of the others across the James Smith Cree Nation. Police say there are at least 13 different crime scenes.
This kind of violence, or any kind of violence, has no place in our country.
Doreen Lees believes one of the suspects knocked on her front door after authorities sent out a phone alert.
He had, it looked like his coat over his face, and he said, I need somebody to take me to the hospital. My mouth has been hurt.
Both suspects were last spotted together about 200 miles south in Saskatchewan's capital, Regina. Police so far don't have a motive. Thalia Perez, CBS News, New York.
A senior Indigenous leader suggests drugs were somehow involved in the attacks. It's unclear if the 2 men are related. Monkeypox has the potential to lead to more serious heart problems. A case study by the American College of Cardiology highlighted a case where a patient developed chest tightness associated with acute myocarditis just 1 week after catching monkeypox. The patient made a full recovery, but doctors say the case will help them investigate whether there's a connection between monkeypox and more serious heart conditions. Americans are choosing to snack more instead of eating a meal. The U.S. snack market continues to see growth. Market research company Euromonitor International keeps up with snacking trends around the world. It estimates the U.S. snack market rose to more than $150 billion this year. Market research say IRI says millennials tend to start their day off with a snack, while Gen Zers and boomers snack in the afternoon or the evening. The Internal Revenue Service is acknowledging an error that inadvertently exposed taxpayer information on the web. The admission involves as many as 120,000 individuals who filed from 990T, often used by nonprofit organizations. The IRS form is to report unrelated business income. Agency officials say they have removed the files from public view on its website and will be contacting those affected directly. And a little later, how extreme weather was wreaking havoc today in other parts of the country.
And it's been pretty benign around here, just a few scattered showers, but I'll be back in a minute to tell you if we expect more rain or more heat, so stay tuned. Well, the holiday weekend is coming to a close, but it wasn't too bad out there with a little bit of sunshine, also a little bit of rainfall too, but we've been behind, so I think that was pretty welcome news. Right now outside, it's looking pretty good, not too bad. If you're heading out and about this evening, down in Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca, pretty nice evening down there as well. Let's take a look at the rainfall amounts. There wasn't a whole lot going on today. Down in Benton County, they had a few scattered showers, and also in Delaware County, south and east of Jay, a little bit of a shower down there. But that was about it. Most of the area was dry all day long. Temperatures right now are in the 70s, even some 60s showing up, like in Nevada and Stockton right now with 68 in Iola, 74 in Chanute, 74 in Veneta, and 70 degrees down in Jay. Dew points not far behind, generally in the mid 60s across the area, so it's making it feel a little bit sticky out there on the dew point tracker, even a little bit muggy in some of those places like Bentonville where they currently have a dew point of 69 degrees. The allergies, they've been pretty bad. Today 10.6 out of 12, and tomorrow's going to see a little bit of an improvement, but still up there at 10.1, and most of that is ragweed pollen. All right, let's take a look at the temperature right now in Joplin. It's 71, feels like 71. Dew point is 67 degrees, and the pressure's rising just a little bit at 30.02 inches of mercury on the current hour. Forecast track for tonight, generally mid 60s across the area with easterly winds. Not too bad of a night, a few clouds, maybe a little bit of patchy fog in the morning, but that should burn off pretty quickly. And by tomorrow afternoon, highs in the upper 80s, I should say, close to 90 out to the west, like in Fredonia, as well as Eureka, 88 in Welch and 85 down in Jay. Then as we head through Wednesday morning, we're going to see lows once again in the 60s with those northeasterly winds bringing in slightly drier air. So it's going to make it feel a little bit more comfortable out there. But by Wednesday afternoon, we'll see temperatures again in the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees, especially out to the west, with 92 for your high in Coffeyville. Then as we go through Wednesday night into Thursday morning, lows get a little bit more comfortable, especially up to the north. Check this out. Nevada down to 60, 62 in Mountain City, 62 here in Joplin, so it'll feel a lot more comfortable. Here's a look at the upper level pattern over the next few days. We have one system that we're dealing with right now. That's going to kind of weaken, but we have another system dropping down out of the north, and that is what's expected to change our weather as we go towards next weekend, as this upper level low is going to get cut off and just basically sit and spin for a few days, and that means cooler weather as well as wetter weather in our forecast. Tomorrow though, pretty dry, 88 degrees for the high, and then as we go through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it'll be hot with highs in the lower 90s, but then look at next weekend, 80 degrees on Sunday with a pretty good chance of showers and storms, and then even cooler for Monday with a high of only 79, and look at that, a low of 56. It's time to open the windows and enjoy that kind of temperature.
It'll be weird wearing jackets early in the morning and then, having to wear long, short sleeves, come the afternoon.
Yeah, nice fall weather.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it'll be on its way.
All right.
All right.
Scientists say concern over Antarctica's Thwaites Glacier is amplifying. The glacier is one of the widest on Earth. It's larger than the state of Florida. It's nicknamed Doomsday Glacier because it's melting underwater as the planet warms and has a high risk of collapse. If that happens, it could raise the global sea level by several feet, which could lead to widespread destruction of our coastlines. Extreme weather is wreaking havoc coast to coast. this Labor Day as the end of summer travelers prepare for busy roadways and skyways on their way home. From floods to fires, from the Northeast to the West, millions of Americans are under severe weather watches, and reporter Karen Kafa has the latest.
As millions of Americans wind down the holiday weekend, extreme weather changing plans from excessive heat in the West.
I would say just go out early in the morning and then stay home. That's how I would describe it. It is hot.
To flood threats up and down the east from Alabama to Maine, stemming from the same system that soaked northwest Georgia.
This is my house in the middle of all this water.
That Georgia rainfall, more than a foot on Sunday with more expected Monday, so heavy that meteorologists estimate it is at least a 1 in 1,000 year event. Labor Day Monday saw at least 80 million Americans under flood watches, including major cities like Boston, New York, and Atlanta. Meanwhile, in the West, Oregon, Idaho, and California have been feeling the heat for days, with temperatures approaching and in some cases topping the triple-digit mark.
Oh my gosh, you walk out of the store with an ice cream cone and it melts in your hand. This is ridiculous.
That's straining power systems and fueling dangerous fires. The Mill Fire, one of 2 fires which broke out in Northern California Friday, turned deadly Sunday.
We have lost 2 people to this fire.
The western heat wave is expected to continue past the Labor Day weekend, with temperatures running about 15 to 20 degrees above normal. I'm Karen Kafa reporting.
Still ahead, Baxter Springs reflects on their Friday night win that snapped a 25-game losing streak. And Pitt State volleyball grabs momentum as they enter conference play. Danny Terzer has that and details next.
In our Press Box show on Friday night, we asked you all to vote on the performance of the week, and the results are in. Baxter Springs has won the vote. The Lions picked up their first win since 2018 in dominating fashion. Baxter shut out Southeast 42-0 on the road in their season opener on Friday. It was a total team effort. The defense made some plays, and offensively, 5 different guys scored touchdowns. It was certainly a special moment, and the Lions are ready to do it again this Friday night.
We all had a winning mentality coming into it. And once it happened, we were all super excited, especially me and all my fellow seniors. We had never won before, so it was pretty emotional for us. Been through some tough years the past couple years, and it just finally paid off this year. It really boosted our mentality going forward. It's kind of getting that taste, got that taste for the first time in 4 years, and now we just don't want to lose.
Pitt State volleyball is 5-3 on the early season, and through those 8 matches, they're beginning to find a rhythm. After a slower start to the season, PSU responded, going 4-0 at the Gorilla Classic tournament this past weekend. Now they have momentum heading into their first conference match against Central Oklahoma on Friday.
Being able to open up at home and going 4-0 at home to begin is really nice to make us feel confident, and this week of practice is really important for us, keeping that energy rolling into conference this week.
You're never sure after you go 1-3 the first weekend how they're going to respond, but seeing them just kind of refocus, change their goals, and just say let's worry about this weekend, each game, and then battling through those long sets, that was really fun to see them kind of come through and succeed.
The St. Louis Cardinals stay rolling into September. In their last 10 games, they're 8-2 and have outscored their opponents by 23 runs. St. Louis is home today, kicking off a series with the Washington Nationals. Cardinals offense just doesn't show up in this one. They're shut out and held to just 3 hits. Nationals win the opener 6-0. Kansas City hosts Cleveland for a 3-game series. Opener tonight, Drew Waters hits his first major league home run, a 2-run shot. Then Salvador Perez ties the ball game late with an RBI double. In extras now, Cleveland leads 6-4.
Congrats to Baxter Springs. 25-game losing streak snapped just like that.
It's a long time coming.
So how many games did they play in the regular season? Like 10?
9, 10.
9. So you go essentially like 3.5 seasons or 2.5 seasons without a W. So congrats to them. And Pujols, no Pujols magic tonight. No more dingers.
No, I was waiting for it, but we're bound to have more of that coming soon.
Oh yeah, that race to 700, he's smelling blood in the water.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
Well, that's a look at sports, and we'll be back with more after this. We take time now to honor a local veteran. Mark Alexander served in the U.S. Army, his hometown, Coffeyville, Kansas. We salute Sergeant Mark Alexander, our Fourth State hero. And to learn about other heroes or to submit a hero of your own at any time, just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And if you're ever on the go and still want to be able to catch our newscast live, just go and download the KOAM Plus app. It's available for free of charge on the Apple and Google Play stores, as well as Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Just search KOAM Plus. They may not have been stubborn as mules, but some goats in Massachusetts refused to get off a busy road. Responding police officers in Rowley worked to round them and get them up without much luck until one of them realized you can catch more flies with a donkey than vinegar. Well, it turns out the honey available was a pack in McDonald's French fries. Those seemed to do the trick just fine as officers used the fries to lure the goats to safety. It's not known exactly how the goats got onto the road or where they ended up. Man, that's an interesting.
They'll eat pretty much anything.
Goats?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do.
But all right, Sam, what do we have?
We have some nice weather coming up. A little bit on the warm side though, with temperatures getting into the lower 90s later on this week. But then a big change as we head towards next weekend. Cooler weather and also a chance of rainfall. So not too bad.
I'm so looking forward to no longer seeing hot underneath some of our temp predictions.
Me too. I hate putting it up there.
All right, Danny.
Update from the Royals game. They do score 1 in the bottom of the 9th, but they'll fall in extra innings to the Cleveland Guardians 6-5.
All right. Well, we thank you for watching. We'll see you right here tomorrow, and thank you for tuning in.